Okay, let's go straight into today's video. Why Africans cannot fix Africa. Why Africans will not be able to fix Africa. Now, I have to warn you, if you are the kind of person that don't like to talk about race, you don't like to talk about blacks, whites, and or any other race, Asian, don't watch this video, please. Because at the end of this video, you may end up either hating me, unsubscribe, or unfollow me. But that's fine because, Tupac says life goes on, right? I have to say what I have to say. You may not agree with what I'm about to talk about. That's fine. We all have our own opinion, right? That's what makes us, human beings, right? I'm going to try to keep it short because I really don't like long videos myself. But I will see how far I can go with this video. If I cannot finish it today, maybe I will do a second part. But let's dive into today's video. Why Africans will never be able to fix Africa. Okay, it all started in the beginning. In the beginning, God created these three people. Hello, my name is African, but you can also call me a black man. Hello, my name is Asian, but you can also call me a Chinese man. Hello, my name is Caucasian, but you can also call me a white man. God created these three people. But since God is a very smart God, God did something very interesting. He looked at them because he created them in his own image, right? He looked at them, he said, I don't want them to be bored of each other. So he changed their color. He gave them different color. Now, I really don't know if anybody is black or white or actually what color are Chinese people. I really don't know, but let's say yellow. So God created them and he gave them different color so that they don't get bored of each other. Multiple colors, very beautiful thing. That's why rainbow is always very beautiful. Then the next thing God did was very interesting. God gave each one of them three things. The first thing he gave them life. The second thing he gave them brain. The third thing he gave them opportunity. Each one of them, he gave all these three things. Why did God give them life first? Without life, what the hell can you do? If you are not alive, what can you do? Dead people cannot do anything. Dead people don't play saxophone. I play saxophone because I have life. I'm alive. So God knows that for them to be able to function, he has to give them the very most important thing, which is life. Why did he give them brain, secondly? Because he knows that without brain, they won't be able to do the third thing he's providing for them. Without brain, they won't be able to either see the opportunity or create the opportunity. So he gave them life for them to be alive, to use their brain. Then he gave them brain for them to be able to see the opportunity, which is the third thing he gave each and every one of them. Now let's talk about what the white man and the Asian man start doing. This is what they started doing with their brain. They started creating opportunity for themselves. They started seeing opportunity that God has given them. They started, and these are some of the things they've created from them being alive and having the brain. These are some of the things they have done. Let's talk about what the African man did, the black man. The black man respects God so much. He's in love with God. And it's not a bad thing though. The black man recognizes the person that gave him life, brain, and opportunity. So what the black man often will do is to go back to God. He runs to God all the time because he's into God. He completely forget the second and the third gift that God gave him, the brain and the opportunity. He completely forget those two things. He will always run back to God. He runs back to God for everything. Now, what about the white man and the Asian man? Do they also recognize God? Yes, they do. They actually recognize God in the things they create, in the things they make. They are going back to God, showing God what they've done with what He has given them. That's how they recognize God. However, the black man recognizes God by just running back to God for more questions. One day, something happens though. The black man goes to God and he actually tells God that the enemy will not let me use my brain or create an opportunity or see the opportunity you've given me. Let me repeat that. The black man goes back to God and says to God that the enemy will not let me use my brain or to see the opportunity or create an opportunity. So God asked him, who is your enemy? Because I only created three of you. I only created you, the white man, and the Asian man. So who is your enemy? It's only three of you, three brothers. He didn't know what to say because he couldn't lie to God. But he's trying to give God an excuse of why he's not using his brain to create an opportunity or to see the opportunities. So one day, he went back to God again. And now, this time, he sees himself as the enemy. Have you ever noticed in Africa how we see ourselves as the enemy? Have you ever noticed that Africans, they don't see the white people or the Asian as the spiritual enemies? They always see themselves. We always see ourselves as the spiritual enemies. We are our own spiritual enemies. Though we complain that, oh, the white men don't like us, the Asian men don't like us. But when it comes to complaining to God, we go to God that our real enemy are ourselves, my brother, my sister, my parent. Pastors in Africa will clash families together. Brothers don't talk to brothers anymore. Sisters don't talk to sisters anymore. Because why? They've convinced you that the person that is holding your blessing are your parents. Your parents are behind your lack of opportunity in life. Your parents are behind all your problems. That's how they've convinced us in Africa. This is what the African man believes and now complaining to God about. He sees himself as the enemy. Since he couldn't convince God really strongly that his enemies are the one preventing him from using his brain to see or create an opportunity, so he came up with a system. He started depending on God for miracles. Now, there's nothing wrong in depending on God for miracle. But let me tell you the big problem. The biggest problem in depending on God for miracles is it stops you from using the two things that God has given you. It stops you from using your brain. So the African man, since he cannot use his brain to see or create the opportunity, he created a system to start depending on God for miracles. He refrained from using his brain to see and create opportunity for himself. He started depending on God for miracles. One day, the black man goes to God and asks God for help. He says, God, can you help me do the same thing that my white brother and my Asian brother are doing? Can you help me to do the same thing they are doing? God does something very different at this time. God now sends him back to his brothers. God says to him, why don't you go back to your brothers? I created 3 of you. So why don't you go back to your brothers? Maybe they can help you. The African man, the black man, could not go back to his brothers. Why? Because of his ego. Have you noticed that Africans are full of ego? Especially the ones that are full of ego the most are our spiritual leaders. They are all full of ego and very arrogant. Now, something interesting happens. Since he could not, because of his ego, go to his brother to ask for help, his brothers decide to come to him and help him. This is why you will see so many white people and Asian people moving to Africa. They are there to help them. Oh my God. They are not their enemies, since Africans, because of the ego, cannot go to them for help. They decide to come to Africa, to the black men, to help them out. Because God created them in his own image, and God wants them to live in unity. Have you noticed that African name always bear the characteristics of God? Oluwakemi, Oluwaseun, Oluwarotimi, Oluwashola. If you pick 10 Africans, 7 of them will have some names relating to God. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. So the black man decided to start giving his children names of characteristics of God. Whereas the Chinese man and the white man, they just give their children any name. Chinese people, Gong, Hang, Hong, Gum, Gim, Gam, Hong. What the hell is that? But to them, it has some meaning. Who knows? Anyway, to them, the name is not super important to the rest of the gift that God has given them. It's not as important for life, to the brain, and to the opportunity that God has given them. Africans start bribing God by our names. But we still are not using our brains though, and we are not creating any opportunities. If you really want to know how Africans are very spiritual, ask a typical African person to wish somebody else happy birthday. Ask an African person to wish somebody happy birthday. A simple happy birthday. Let me tell you how Africans will wish people happy birthday. Today is the day that the Lord has made. You'll be glad and rejoice in it. Today, as you came into this world, I pray that you will go from strength to strength. You will go from glory to glory. Your enemy will never catch up to you. You will not die. Happy birthday to you. As I'm wishing you this happy birthday, God will enlarge your territory. God will bless you. Happy birthday is a prayer to Africans. It is. Bribing God. Though we recognize his God with our names and in our prayers, but we're still not using our brains, and we still don't see the opportunities or creating the opportunities. The brain and the opportunity will refrain from those two places. Africans cannot fix Africa at this time. Go to Instagram, for example. Let's use one as an example. Search for African saxophonist, because I play saxophone myself. So just use that as an example. Or you can actually pick any artist that you are interested in or that you like. Look for African saxophonist. If you have 100 saxophonists, 90 of them will be gospel. African recognizes God. We just don't use our brains to see the opportunities or create an opportunity. We are very close to God though. We need the brain to be able to see the opportunity or to create the opportunity. I play gospel, I play all kinds of music. If you check out my channel, I play all kinds of music. If it sounds good, that's what I play. To me, it's good. Africans cannot fix Africa. Without using our brains, no way in the world we can fix Africa. God will never fix it. That's why he hasn't fixed it for the past 2,000 years. No, he will never fix it. He has given us the power to fix it. The brains that he gave us. The opportunity that he placed before us. It's our job as an African to be able to utilize our brains to create opportunity for ourselves and to see opportunity that God have already created for us. Without using our brain again, no way in the world Africans will ever fix Africa. Lastly, when I say Africa, I'm talking about black countries in Africa. Every black country in Africa. And this also can even include some other black countries that are not in Africa. Or Highland. Jamaica is included. Haiti, people from Haiti, Asians, they are included. Every black country is the same. Our thinking is the same. Our perception is the same. Tell me one single black country that has built its own plane. Tell me, do you know that in Nigeria, 400 million people, our population is 400 million. We don't have astronaut in Nigeria. 400 million people, no astronaut. We've never been to space before. Many black countries or island, tell me which one of them have created their own space shuttle. Nigeria has Nigerian Airways. I don't know if they still have it or not. But did we build the plane? Black nations don't create anything. We run back to God to help us do all these things. Anyway, that's all I have for now. I will see you next time. Ciao.